This is
Russellbrand tells Steven Crowder that the only meaningful opposition to establishment power is in the alternative right. Dude, this is pretty funny. This account posts about me all the time, by the way. I don't know if you guys know this. This is like one of those absolutely psychotic fucking accounts that always is like, Hasan is a defender of Russia. Hasan loves Russia. He's a Russian operative. It's like one of those fucking weirdos.
Stephen tends to be on the movements of power and finance and how the neoliberal establishment has been co-opted by the same financial interest that 30 or 40 years ago would have been presumed to be affiliated with the conventional right. I'm talking about Wall Street, military industrial complex, big pharma. And over the period of the pandemic, it became sort of plain to me that what we were being offered was a lens to how power was operating, and the fact that there was no meaningful opposition from anywhere other than spaces that are typically now labeled as the alternative right.
There is literally nothing dumber than assuming that anyone on the right, is genuinely interested in disrupting the right-wing hierarchies that we currently exist under. Everything that right-wing dipshits advocate for is more of the same punitive existence. Like literally, like 99.9% of content that the right-wing cuts is like, police brutality is good and it's actually not real, but if it was real, it should happen more frequently. You know what I mean? It's like they literally look to the current unjustifiable hierarchies and say, more please, more please. Let me give you the talking points to make you feel good about what's happening right now, please. Let me shift your attention away from the devastating realities of existence, please. That's like all they do. You're sitting across from a fucking dumbass who is anti-union, anti-worker, literally fucking has used American Enterprise Institute talking points to defend why Americans do not deserve free health care, even though he's a fucking Canadian. How are you going to tell me that this is like disruptive or anti-establishment? You think Steven Crowder and others on the far right are anti-American military state? Anti-American imperialism? Are you insane? Is he back on? Is he back on the horse, dude? Or sorry, did he fall off the horse? Is that what you say? He must be on meth or something if he genuinely thinks that. Especially when these guys are getting directly paid by billionaires to keep cutting this kind of propaganda. Why are oil billionaires giving money to these fucking dickheads, dude? Are you stupid? You think that's disruptive? You think that's why oil billionaires are giving money to these guys? Because they're being disruptive to the American imperialist state? It's a wagon, you fall off the wagon.
This is where we saw sort of criticisms emerging, where people were willing to have the conversation. So, where my focus is.
What are your thoughts on why COVID pushed so many former self-described leftists in the arms of right-wingers? It's so weird how this happened. Were they just fashion hiding? No, because they just don't have like a sound moral compass or all that smart. One must never forget that, like, just because you're a leftist or a self-described like Marxist or socialist or whatever doesn't mean you're automatically smart. I'm a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Many of you are idiots too. Like, I think Russellbrand isn't like a nefarious propagandist. I think he's a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? He's like really, really, really dumb. And now, after many, many years of smelling his own fucking farts, he just has no internal mechanism to second guess himself. You know what I mean? I had a buddy who was a far-right Christian before 2016, then fell in love with Bernie Sanders and loved him. Then COVID hit and he went full-on far-right. Yeah. I mean, how many dumb motherfuckers from this community that used to be like insanely dedicated stans turned into like either literal full-blown grifters or at the very least became like massive haters of mine. I mean, splinter discords exist specifically to shit on me. You know what I mean? It happens. I was a chud before I found your content. Yeah, well, there are plenty like you, which is why I try to conduct myself in a way to make sure that you don't go back to your fucking right-wing roots in an otherwise incredibly right-wing world. Leftists resent unreasonable authority and control, but if you cannot determine what is reasonable, then things like vaccines fall under that banner from your POV. Yeah. Also, one other part about this, one other issue, I guess, is that there are very real criticisms that launch towards big pharma. Like when someone says, oh, they want to vaccinate us like we're cattle, that's true. Okay, but as a human being, you should want to survive. You know what I mean? Like, it's true. The reason why vaccines were pushed is because they are helpful. They're helpful in harm reduction. They're helpful to ensure that, like, when you get sick from COVID, you don't get fucking ass clapped. You don't die, okay? It makes it way, way less likely for you to die. Like, thank you. This is a great take. If the rich are taking the vaccine, why wouldn't you? Is the greatest question. If 98% of doctors took the vaccine, if nearly every fucking rich person took the vaccine, why the fuck are you not taking it, idiot? You think they would do that shit to themselves? The boosters are profitable for them, but our goals are aligned. Yeah, in this circumstance, this is one of the few instances where, like, their goal is to make sure that you keep being a productive laborer without severe disruptions to the fucking labor force. And your goal as a human being should be to survive, like to not die, especially when there's some kind of, easy treatment to it. Conspiracists will say they didn't really take it or it was a saline injection. They even say that Biden was doing it on TV was fake. Yeah. I tried talking that point with the anti-vaxxer I work with, and they said that the vaccines they took were just water or not vaccine, and they give the real poison to the poor to kill them. Doesn't make any sense, I know. You're cattle. Farmers do not vaccinate their fucking cattle because they want to kill them. Farmers vaccinate their cattle because they want to protect them. Okay? You're still cattle, but that's how it works. Being an anti-vaxxer is predicated on the idea that as an individual, you are worth the resources it would take to poison you. That's also hilarious too. Exactly. It is so self-involved and so self-entitled that you think the government is trying to, like, assassinate you when, like, predator drones exist. You know what I mean? You fucking idiot. If the government wanted to assassinate you, you'd be dead before you even fucking thought about it. It's also about, like, the thing that's right under your nose, right? The thing that's right under your nose that, like, everyone is hyper-focusing at, right? Like, this became the thing. I'll give you another example. I know, like, conservatives always do that, like, gray NPC meme, but, like, they operate in the identical capacity. But drag queens, or just, like, cross-dressing in particular, was never considered to be this, like, abhorrent moral degeneracy. But it became the thing. And it was a deliberate, targeted, overzealous effort to make it the thing that people were mad at, which is why so many of these dumb motherfuckers who are now like, oh, if you're doing drag, you should be executed or whatever the fuck, literally did drag themselves. It's like being triggered by Mrs. Doubtfire. Nah, for most heteros, it was just weird. Fuck no. Not weird, but satirical. It was theater. You're forgetting. It was always theater. It was always and still is theater. But now you do drag and you're like, oh, dude, what the fuck? You're a homosexual pedophile. Think about that. I'm from a Latin American country. Literally the other day, my grandfather was telling me about how he and his friends used to get dressed as girls for the carnival. He's homophobic as fuck. Exactly. So this notion that, like, this is not a newly found phenomena, this anger, this hysteria directed towards drag people as a vector to attack trans people in general is not a relatively new phenomena, is a silly one. It is a new phenomena. Donald Trump really, actually fondled the breastises of Rudy Giuliani in drag. Rudy Giuliani America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani, did drag. Donald Trump literally fondled his fake breasts. Donald Trump even had drag fans, like drag performers that were Trump supporters, come to his rallies. So it's not like this is like a 2018 phenomena, 2019, 2020 phenomena almost. Come on, man. Remember. But the reason why it's like a big deal now is because we've decided it's supposed to be a big deal. Here, look. I mean, yeah, you think I'm lying here?
You know, you're really beautiful. And a woman that looks like that has to have her own special scent.
Oh, thank you. Maybe you could tell me what you think of this scent.
I like that.
This may be the best of all. Oh, you dirty boy, you. Oh. Donald, I thought you were a gentleman.
You can't say I didn't try.